Kyle from Stall Agronomy, and I'm going to talk to you about corn planting as far as late plants, prevent plants, just our past experience with corn, and then some stuff on soybeans. It's gonna be a weird year in trying to figure this stuff out, and I know it's May 29th as I recorded this. So we're right at the end of our corn date, basically. So for corn, our last day to plant corn with 100% insurance coverage is May 31st. So that's at 100%. We start going down 1% every day after that. So really, for me, once we hit the June 1st, you can start claiming prevent plants. What would I do if I still have corn I want to plant? So in our zone, we're usually 100 to 105. Once we get past May 25th, I'm going down to 95 to 100 day. And once I hit June 1st, so the first year, I'm doing 90 to 95 day corn for grain. Once we hit the 10th, unless you really, really need it for feed, I'm pretty much stopping. And if we go to feed, we're doing 80 to 85 day corn. So really, we start seeing this chance of being successful really drop. So what experience do I have with late plants? So we got 2009, 2013 here, and 2017. 2009, cool season. 2013, also a cool season. And I'd say 2017 was an average season for us. On a typical year, so our regular planted corn, we're probably about 160 bushels here. So this is our average planting dates. 2013, we were probably about 175. And 2017, we were actually closer to probably 200 bushel. When you start looking at late plants, so we'll say after June 1st, this year we were in 120 to 130. Basically the same thing. We were about 130 in 2013. And 2017 we're 130 to maybe 150. So we're talking about moistures. This year we were in the 30 to 35% range on our late plants. I'd say 2013 we were probably about 25 to 30% after June 1st. And basically the same thing into 2017. So we start looking at profitability, right? We're profitable here that year. Probably about break even. 2009, high fir prices. 2013, I think we were about break even. Ooh, that got all Lapperjawed on me. I would say we were about break even this year. And this year, we were definitely about break even on 2017. When we started looking at these, we lost money playing after June 1st, lost money playing after June 1st, and lost money playing after June 1st. Basically, all your inputs are going to be the same. You're still going to put nitrogen on, you're still going to spray with chemicals. You start kind of wondering, I talked to other guys, what are your experience with late plant in June? What are yield histories? So 2009, we had no chance of getting optimum yield after June 1st. I'd say in 13, we had a few guys hit 200, but a lot of guys were in this 130-ish area. 2017, our late plant, I think I had some 175 bushel corn, but most of it was in this 130, 150. So, yeah, is there an opportunity you can make actually get some decent yield? Yes. Is it a high chance? No. Really, we're talking about isolated fields. We can actually remember the specific farms and fields that did this. So the odds of that really are happening are pretty low. So for me, once I hit June 1st, we start talking about silage corn. If you don't have insurance, really cut down to that 90-day corn-ish area. Try to watch your inputs on it. Manage it as if you were managing like 150 bushel corn. Don't manage it like 250 bushel corn. Don't manage it. It has the potential to get much over 200. Just kind of manage it the way that corn's going to be. Just come into it with the expectation that it's not going to be the best corn you ever had. So the other thing is we do need to take some advice here kind of with a grain of salt. So we get a lot of advice from guys that are in Illinois. I mean, right now they're in the same boat we are in, but they're June 10th to June 15th planting dates for corn. Ours is June 1st. You got to remember those guys still have the potential to get over 200 bushel corn. You're talking 200 plus, maybe 250 plus APH down there. Once you get up in this area, our APH is 175-ish, right around there, maybe 200 sometimes, but it's a totally different environment. You got to remember that their potential for heat units and stuff is much higher. It's like, so we're talking about 2009. We had wet, low yields. They thought 2009 was great. Same thing with 2013. I saw a thing on the Purdue that they're talking about 2013 being a great year. They had a great long grain fill. We just didn't get that. We got early frosts most of those years. So it's a totally different environment for us to manage corn. So now we're talking about soybeans, right? So soybeans, our plant date, at least in the southern half of Wisconsin, is June 15th. So if you can get in before June 15th or July 5th, you should still be planting soybeans. Well, what about maturities, right? So soybeans are totally different than corn. We talked about this on the previous video. Our soybeans are more on date than they are in heat units. So once we get past June 1st, so if you're planting a 2.5 soybean, once you hit June 1st, I would be looking at a 2.0. And the same thing, if you're planting a 2.3, I'd be looking at a 1.8. Drop about 0.5 maturity. Don't go much lower than that. We don't need to plant 1.0 beans or 1.4s. You're not really going to gain much. We're all about harvesting sunlight here and day length than we are about harvesting heat units. So that's something to consider. And the other thing is, we're talking about row spacings, right? So 30-inch beans will take a fairly long time to close the rows. So you got more area in here that has to fill. 20-inch to 15-inch or less, you're much closer. It doesn't take as long to fill these rows. So you're going to want to try to switch to a narrower planting width. I don't know if I'd go to 7.5s, but try to get something shorter or narrower for your planting spacing. The other thing is, we talk about that. And don't skimp on weed control, obviously. We're still talking with bigger weeds out there. We had a cooler growing season. We're going to have some pretty decent sized weeds. Make sure you still get a burn down on, get some residual on. We're really starting to see Roundup ready or Roundup resistant weeds showing up in our area. So don't just think you're going to spray Roundup once on it. The other thing is planting density. So, a lot of guys are, at least on our farm, we're 130 to 150,000 plants. So, once we get much past June 1st, I would be nothing less than 155,000. And I'd probably be in that 155 to 180, somewhere in there. Once we start getting past June 1st, just so we can get some more plants out there to close canopy maybe a little faster. The other thing is skimping on seed treatment. So we had a lot of guys, I've typically gotten past May 20th, guys don't want to get rid of seed treatment. So there's some years we can get away with that. I had 1 year we replanted twice on something that was untreated. I will say this year is a little bit different than that year even yet, because our soil temps right now, I think this morning we're in the low 50s, and we're in more of an early May soil temperature. I would still treat your soybeans. I know it's going to be an added cost, but if you're going to plant soybeans, still treat them. Don't skimp on the seed treatment. So the next question is going to be, what yield should I expect, right? I mean, once we get past June 1st, what's a typical yield for us? So I would compare these years to 2017 was probably the worst year for us for late plant soybeans. At our farm, at least, I think our best beans that year were about 40 bushel. And we started getting closer to the middle of June. We were in that 25 to 30 bushel beans. And we're starting to talk about, the bean price keeps going up. Maybe we're going to get towards break even. Beans were kind of iffy even at 55 bushel to break even this year. So it's going to be another difficult decision to make. So I don't know what to tell you. It's the same thing with corn. There's a possibility we can get higher yields. It's all going to depend on, how our season progresses here. If we get hot and dry, it could change quite a bit. Also keep in mind an eye on your planting conditions, right? We've gotten really lax, I would say, on how dry things are. I literally had a phone call, somebody talking about why the seed trench wouldn't close, and maybe it was a closing wheel issue. No, it wasn't. It was just that wet when they planted. So it's just kind of, we've skewed our reality of what we would say is too dry. Or dry enough to plant. Just keep that in mind. Soybeans a little bit more forgiving than corn. What I switch all my, if I have insurance, why I switch all my acres from corn to soybeans with the chance of maybe they'll have a new MFP payment. I don't think so. Just the way the MFP thing goes, and you and I are smart enough to realize that if there's more than a few guys that think about doing that, we're going to increase our soybean production. There's a real high chance that the price could keep going down. That MFP maybe brings us back to like a normal level. So just keep that stuff in mind. Weather's been really a big factor this year. There's a lot of unknowns, and I can't tell you all the answers. I mean, I can show you this stuff. I can base it off of past experience, but at the same time, you could have totally different experience this year. We could have a totally different growing season than we've ever had, which we've already had. So things could totally change, and just kind of take the amount of risk you're willing to take. That's the thing with insurance. We just have to manage our risk and start talking about it and run the numbers. Really sit down and kind of crunch the numbers and try to understand what your level of risk tolerance is. Try to understand what you're willing to do. Just take all that stuff into account. I can't give insurance advice. I don't know enough about that stuff to really sit here and talk to you guys about it much, but just talk to your agent. That's literally the first thing I say on the phone when people have called me the last few days that they ask me an insurance question. Talk to your agent. Have you talked to your agent first? If they haven't, call your agent. Get some ideas what they're thinking. Understand their expectations of what they want you to do, and then call me and maybe I'll give you some ideas on what we should be doing. So anyway, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more better stuff, but I think it's just going to be a challenging year pretty much from here on out. So we're going to be talking about a lot of difficult issues over the next few weeks. So I'll catch you guys next time.